I haven't reviewed The Last of Us 2. I haven't reviewed The Boys Season 2. You might ask why. My heart hasn't been in it. For The Last of Us 2, I just couldn't, okay? And for The Boys Season 2, it's great, but the best reviews out there for it are from Jeremy John. So I have nothing to add. Where can I add my input though? Race Driver Grid. I will admit, the name of the game is a bit cumbersome. That's why so many just refer to it by the name Grid. But the game itself, man. Oh, I'm coming in the gym.
I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, so I'm coming day and night.
Now, yes, I may be coming, but the question is, if you were to play it right now, in 2020, in your underwear, I'm kidding, in 2020, would you come just the same? Is the game still fun? The simple answer is yes. When I played it as a kid, my tiny little gamer brain could barely comprehend how amazing the game was, and when I recently revisited it this year, it was just as engaging and fun. At this point, you might be saying, bro, why are you even talking about Grid 2008? There was a remaster of this exact game last year, Grid 2019. Isn't that better in like every single way? No. Sure, it may look better from a pure texture standpoint, but it really severely lacks the unique visual palette and style the original Grid had. For example, the higher contrast and sepia filter, minor sepia filter mind you, tasteful sepia filter, the original Grid had, it just gave it this unique atmosphere that the new remake to me just lacks completely. Add the sounds of the cars to that, and the smoke they would leave, especially in drifting, it just feels like the new Grid has no identity of its own other than generic racing game. On top of that, they got rid of two fan favorite modes, Demolition Derby and Drift Battle and Drift GP. Hell no! Without this, okay? Without this, nobody's interested. And it just takes away all the magic of the original game. And same as without this. No Demolition Derby, no Drift GP, no buy. Now, you can drift in Grid 2019, but it's not in a dedicated drift mode. It's just like a bonus you get for doing it during races. Same with Demolition Derby. You can use the cars, but not in an actual Demolition Derby. Grid 2019 can suck my little soldier, okay? I have to say, but a complete waste of space. Now, 2008 might not sound that long ago if you're around the same age as me. 22? But let's remember, that is 12 years ago. 12 years old, and it looks like this, man. I realize how bad that sounds out of context, but I'm talking about the game here. Now, that's the PC version. I can't speak for Xbox and PlayStation, but damn, looking like that for 2008, I see you, Grid. You best believe I see you. Obviously, it's not the best looking game ever, but it damn well holds up. And that's part of what made Grid 2008 so engaging and still engaging today. It had a unique look, it had heart, something that a lot of more realistic races were missing at the time. Especially with that announcer, man. I mean, he is the perfect example of the heart that this game had. I mean, just listen to him. Did my dude just say Chidori? Chidori? Just amazing, man. The amount of passion and originality that Grid had at the time compared to other racers was just unprecedented to me. Next, let's look at its ease of use. If you're on console, obviously you just put the disc in.
Rev up your engine! There's your cover!
And you're ready to go. I'm happy to say it's much the same for the PC version. Except for one teensy thing.
You didn't admittedly have to go into the config file to make sure you can use any resolution above 720p.
But it's an easy fix, and once it's done, everything else about the Grid experience feels surprisingly modern. From the intuitive menus with that amazing, deep black gold look, down to all the options. No, but seriously, you are given so much freedom here, especially when it comes to the difficulty. Like I said, this game is very easy to get into, but hard to master. You can put the game on the little baby difficulty with all your assist, but you know me.
We put on extreme and go.
But none of this gaga boop matters if the game isn't still engaging, and on that front, Grid has not aged one damn day. It's like you married the most beautiful woman in the world, and 30 years later, or 12 years later, I guess, she's still the best at the part that matters. You get what I'm saying? I can plug in my PS4 controller and, of course, pretty much any mainline racing wheel of your choice, and it just straight up recognizes it. Now, for the consoles, anything that worked back then will work back then. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be as freeform as the PC version, but that's what I'm judging, the one I played. Now, driving feels epic as ever. Loose when it needs to be loose, tight when it needs to be tight. Obviously depending on if you know how to handle the different cars, and there is enough nuance to it where you aren't bored straight away. For example, not pushing the brakes too hard, otherwise they will lock up and, well, good luck cornering. Then of course there's the destruction, which, well... Ouch! Holy shit! Even the Grid 2019 remaster doesn't do it this good. Then we got the locations, of which there are many. You can be almost anywhere, it felt like to me as a kid, and even now, from the city tracks of America to the big juicy racetracks of Europe, and even go all the way to Japan for multiple mind-boggling modes. Okay, what you know, yes, okay, weeaboo, that's me, Japan's my favorite, okay? My love for this game is too great, okay? The way this game handles the career is something to behold, even in 2020, in a way that sets it apart from other races of the time. In Grid, at first you're doing freelancer races to build a name for yourself, and
Money.
like a little whore. Then eventually you get to restore an old gas guzzling Mustang and create your own racing team. Don't pay attention to my team's name, okay? You start off in America, and with raising funds through sponsorship bonuses and completing races to where you can eventually make your way out of America into the other two career areas of the world. You can even buy cars second-hand on eBay, bro. eBay. Now, was this game sponsored by eBay? Probably, but the addition of it just adds to the world feeling alive and real, and like, I can go on the second-hand website, you know, type this car, buy it for cheaper price, hell yeah. Now, the only thing I don't like about this team building part of the game is the colors. The colors they give you kinda stink. Yes, you get all the way from black to red to green to orange to purple to yellow to your mom.
Not funny.
But some of their shades of colors just stink. For example, I wanted orange to be one of my colors, but every shade of orange is just so... But that's a minor gripe. There are still many ways to make your car look great, with other colors and a wide range of liveries to use. What's even better is every car you have will keep this color palette and livery you've set, which leads me to a segue about another thing that sets this game apart, which is the variety of cars. Like a whole damn part of this game is dedicated to rising the ranks of the open wheel championships. You can even race a 24-hour Le Mans in Grid, which for obvious reasons is 24 minutes in the game and not 24 hours. Either way, it's still just such an ingenious thing to have in there. It shows up as a seasonal event, which really makes the world of Grid, again, like the eBay thing, feel a lot more alive than its competitors. Then there's the last thing that made Grid unique to other races of the time, and of today, to be honest with you. The music. Most racing games of this genre just have pretty generic soundtracks of techno or dubstep or rocky BS. Now, I'm not saying the music of Grid 2008 is the most epical, amazing soundtrack to ever exist, because that would be a lie, but at least it was unique. At least it tried to have a style. Mixing synth tones with guitar riffs for the races. And then there's the main menu music. Now, honestly, I have no idea what they use for the main menu music, except for the bass line. That's pretty obvious, but it's just so hypnotic to listen to. Maybe it's just nostalgia talking, who knows? But I felt like Grid tried to do something unique with its music that even other Codemasters games hadn't done. And to be honest, no Codemasters game has come close to the greatness of Grid ever since 2008. Well, yeah, that's how Grid 2008 holds up. Really amazingly well. Like, surprisingly well. Except for some evolutions in graphics since 2008, and the config file thing, which won't be an issue on consoles, mind you, feels just as modern, if not better, than most racing games today in what matters the most: the gameplay, the content, the menus, If you haven't played Grid before, I highly recommend you play it. Forza Motorsport 4 is the only game in a similar genre that nearly toppled it, but it failed ultimately. And ever since then, nothing has been able to take the king off his throne. Well, I hope you guys did enjoy that slightly new style of mixing voiceover with some green screen antics. Yeah, I kind of like the green screen because I feel like I can just sort of do whatever with it. At the end of the day, for a video like this, I feel like green screen, it's just what works better, you know? It's just what works better. So, if you enjoyed the video, thank you so much for watching. I would appreciate a like, a subscribe, and a share, because I'm working to get this stuff out to you, okay? You understand? So I'd really appreciate, you know, sharing, or you can watch the channel die. Your choice. No, I'm kidding. I'm still going to make content, even if, you know, I stay at 557 subscribers forever. But you get my point. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.